Hello everyone and welcome back. This is KitbashCarnage. If you're new to the channel, we make some really weird, obscure things here. We kitbash and we just come up with some crazy ideas from subscriber recommendations and stuff in our head basically. So today we're going to make a Hell Dragon for our army, the Mutant Bearers of Faith, that we've been creating over the past few videos. Here we're going to just get a Halloween decoration. I just found this in my local store during Halloween and bought a few other things. But here you can see we're just going to use some armature wire or some wire that you would use for plants to keep them upright. You can get this in art and hobby shops and stuff like that. But the purpose of this is basically to have something for the milliput that we're using here in order to grab onto. So the gaps between the wings themselves will be too large to make the milliput kind of stand on itself or support itself. So to give that bit of foundation, we put this wire in between this. Now you can use like popsicle sticks, you can use anything to just put in between the gaps of the wings, but using the wire we create the thickness of like the webbing in between the wings can be quite thin, and then around the bone area is quite meatier, because that's where obviously there would be the muscle to make the wings flap and be able to use the wings. So here we're just going to take a silicone tipped molding tool, and we're going to use this to make the milliput kind of have a good bond with the plastic material of the dragon itself. So just by sculpting or pushing it into little divots, molding it around, making it stick to itself, and then going around and giving it this look of decay, because this is going to be like a decayed mutant-esque kind of dragon. So half mutated, half bionicle, half decaying, you know, there's a lot of halves in there. How many halves can you get? So getting some milliput and then putting that on the tail, not making sure that we cover the whole thing, just so we can get that look of decay or rot. So basically the skin, the milliput is going to act as muscle, and then we'll end up going over it with more milliput or green stuff after it's dried to create the skin texture. So having a bit of muscle on the skeleton itself to create that decayness, and then leaving some skeleton left over poking through, just to give the whole look of rot and decay and gore kind of. So as I said, just making sure we get the milliput to stick to the actual material of the dragon itself. So I'm using my silicone tip tool to indentate the milliput into the little crevices of the skeleton tail. So I'm pushing it into the little cracks, making it look like it is actually part of the tail and part of the musculature of the whole thing itself. And then you can see little bits that are falling off. I'm just sticking in random areas just to give more look of more muscle, and then adding another piece of milliput over some of the rib cage here, just giving more material kind of look and more depth and character to the whole thing, making it look like half of the rib cage is still intact and the other half is like basically down to the bare bones, no pun intended. Then using that same technique along the legs, making sure one of them looks like it has musculature still on the legs, basically muscles attached to the bone itself, and giving it that look of definition and how it would look in real life. So just sculpting it as the bones are towards the areas, making sure that it is in the right orientation and you're not kind of making some mad looking muscles here. And then we're just continuing the same technique up onto the neck, and as you can see, we're kind of orientating the placement of the musculature or the muscles. So we have one of the wings with a lot of the milliput on it, and then opposite that you have the horn, and then the muscles on the neck kind of goes down and along the other side from the horn, and then the other side of the rib cage has muscles on it, and then the other side of the tail. So you're orientating it so one side has it, one side doesn't, one side has it, one side doesn't. And this, at the outcome of the whole thing, when it's all finished, gives it a bit more of an aesthetic look, rather than having one side is more heavy on the muscles kind of, or you know, the same look. As I said, just I'm waffling on now, but orientating what it looks like, it gives a much more better look on at the outcome, rather than having it all on one side. And here you see we're just making a little like gun pod or rocket pod. So using some hot glue and popsicle sticks, and then we have 2 pieces of some type of rocket pod. We've stuck some kebab sticks through that just to emphasize the rockets that's going to be in it. And then we're making a little like a holder here for the actual gun itself. Dremeling through there and sticking some more popsicle sticks, and then that's just going to be our pivot point. And then this is going to attach directly onto the dragon, just to give it a bit more of a menacing look. Like, who doesn't like a flying mechanical mutant dragon decaying in the sky with a rocket launcher attached to it? That just sounds cool. So we're just trying to figure out the placement of this rocket, where exactly we want it to go, and where it will fit well. And then along with adding some more gears and stuff, we can add to the texture and the character of the whole thing, hiding crimes and making this placement of the rocket pod fit better. So just continuing adding some more gears, more mechanical bits, making the whole aesthetics and of the whole kind of look of the project come to life. So we're just trying to figure out where we're going to put this. So along with adding all these gears and mechanical bits, we're going to try light this up. So trying to, as you can see, figure out where we can put the lights. So I've intertwined them so they come out of each eye, and then I've stringed it through the neck and then into more kind of the cavity, the belly of the dragon. So the 2 eyes should light up, and then the cavity, as you see, lights up there. And this is a demon prince that I'm making, and that's going to be put on top. So we're going to start getting some green stuff out and make some tentacles, because that goes along with our whole army, the Mutant Bearers of Faith. It's kind of tentacle crazy. So using this green stuff, tentacle maker mold machine, apologies for not knowing the right name for it, but using this and then some different variants of circular tubing and like pens and our black lights and paints, we're just going to curve them tentacles to the right way we want them, basically. So in different variations, so we can then, when they've hardened up a little bit, use them to intertwine them between the whole miniature. I say miniature, it's huge. The whole dragon itself. So here you see we're just getting green stuff, and we're getting that and making it into some small sheets, and then spreading that along the dragon. And this is going to create the skin of the dragon. So in places that there wouldn't be much muscle, we're not going to have it over milliput, if that makes sense. And then you'll see us put the green stuff over the milliput as well, to create the definition and a different texture between the milliput being the muscle and the green stuff being the skin itself. Just making sure we use our silicone tool or any molding tool or any tool you're using to make sure that the green stuff is securely attached to the milliput, and they are kind of seamless in a way that when you go over it with your paint, it can look like skin and muscle. So just make it kind of mix into one, and Adding these little dots like you see me doing here kind of makes the skin stand out towards the milliput, so it gives it that skin scaly look. So you can see it just, I've carried that all along the miniature, or I keep on saying it's a miniature, it's not, it's huge, all along the dragon. And now you see me adding these tentacles that is coming out of the skin, so it's like it's bursting out. It's the part of the mutant part of the army, and these are bursting out of the little organic bits that are left of this bionic skeleton dragon. And here I've just made a little C from popsicle sticks, lollipop sticks, and then I'm just cutting it up, adding some chain in between it, and then using some hot glue and some of our tentacles we made, making the whole thing kind of intertwine with the dragon and kind of come to life. Also using the mutant tentacles as like a kind of it's a flesh kind of mutant-esque control panel thing, so if that makes sense. So these tentacles they're their own thing, so they're, each of them have their own mind, if that makes sense, like a starfish. So like a starfish, each of its arms has its own brain apparently. So yeah, these tentacles can control the turret, and they can control stuff. They can just rip one side off and become like an arm, if that makes sense. Or just come off altogether and go and infest other beings that haven't been infected by the Mutant Bearers of Faith lore yet, or the fate of the actual true gods themselves. So here I'm just going to use some more milliput and make it in this little mold of like a stony pattern, and then that's going to be used later on for the base of the miniature. And then using some of these failed prints from my printer, my 3D printer, we're going to use these and use them as some armor panels. So you know me guys, on this channel I don't like to throw much away, and this is case in point. Basically these little failed prints I can just cut up and use as armor panels for this project that I have here. It all turned out pretty well just by dremeling little holes through and then intertwining it with some like plastic wire there, and then strapping that, not strapping it, basically hot gluing it onto the whole miniature or the dragon. It gives it that kind of armor panel look, that old school kind of knight look, if that makes sense. So making sure we have them bent in the right orientation before we stick them on, because once again we're using hot glue, and yeah, hot glue is such a pain to work with. It creates all these stringy threads, and it can burn you, and it also is hard to take stuff off with because it sticks on quite well. So yeah, case in point, Mutant Bearers of Faith army is quite gory and carnagey, so it suits the way we were working here and adds towards the whole aesthetic and the outcome of the army. You can see that little demon prince there that we made. We're kind of sticking some extra tentacles on him, and this is going to fit on that seat in the end. You see another part where we work more with explaining how we did him and stuff. So here you can see some offcuts of some foam board, and we're going to use these to create a base for this dragon. So roughly marking out where we want it to stand and the orientation of where its feet's going to go. And then we're just going feet. Is it a feet or is it like hooves or something like that? Well, basically marking it out so we know where they're going to go, and then using some more offcuts to build up some texture definition. And then we're going to try string some lights through this and give it that whole kind of gory look and demon-esque look, and basically the Mutant Bearers of Faith look. Post-edit Kitbash here. I'm starting to do some lives, so hit that notification bell to be notified when I go live. So these are simply just paper straws that you can get from Hobby Shop. hobby craft shops. I can't even speak anymore. And then we're going to glue these down in a certain way that we can intertwine the lights we're going to put in. And then later on we'll drill, well, now we are going to drill holes in these, and this makes sure that the lights can be seen from inside and it shines through them holes, just lighting it up that little bit more while hiding the strings of the lights themselves. I hope this all makes sense, guys. None of these videos make sense. I am so grateful for everyone subscribing and liking these videos, because why would you? It barely ever makes sense. Thank you for coming along this journey. I'm so happy for the milestones we've reached. We've reached 300 subscribers. We're going up to 320. We just keep going up. I'm so happy, guys. Thank you all for watching these videos and encouraging an Irish crazy kit bashing Carnage guy to continue on doing something he loves, and keep up the comments, because I like to know what you guys are doing. And don't forget, we have a Discord, so link in the description for that. Please join the Discord. I don't think I mention it as much as I should, so I don't think many people know about it. And not only that, but the link I post on some of my videos keeps running out, so I'm gonna have to make one that will stay and not run out, so every time someone tries to join it, it doesn't run out, and I'm having to continuously post a new link. I'm not that good with technology, folks, but we're getting there. In the end, we will get there. So we use some milliput with the stone texture that you're seeing come out of the mold there, and then along with some green stuff, we created some skulls with a roller that we got off the Bits Basher on Instagram. Check him out. And this is the finished product, so I think it came out quite well. Thank you all for watching, and see you in the next one.